I get out and I'm shedding tears. My guy tries to talk, which I just walk out. Because they are friends. Like, remember, I'm thinking, birds of the same feathers flock together. Now,
okay, now you're even angry that
I'm annoyed.
Excuse me. Yes. What? You're not going? Okay. Hey, Wanange, Dr. Grace. This guy, ever since he went back to school, can you imagine? I gave him money to go and buy for me stuff. And then, out of nowhere, he's not going.
But why?
I don't know. You know, these days, since he left, it's now being funny. He keeps dodging. He's not even working anymore. And you know that kind of person. He was like a good boy. You know that kind of person that you know that you need, you can't fire.
I know.
But it's disturbing you too much. Anyway, you know, the other day we were at a clinic, and then we received my mom.
Clinic.
My mom had come for review. Then we received her results. Then they tell me. They bring for me results. They are telling me, your mom, end-stage renal disease.
End-stage renal disease?
End-stage.
Like and the end-stage where you need dialysis.
Creatinine was about what? That you really need dialysis. And then
Jesus Christ.
Her potassium levels were
How was she
so high. She was kawa.
And then they tell you end-stage.
Yeah, we're just doing review. We didn't come. She didn't come when she's sick. But when she reached the hospital, because she hadn't eaten she kind of got dizzy. Then we went to bed. Now, I tell this guy, we even start calculating how much money do you earn. So can you afford? I think he said 200,000 per week. That they started thinking about now dialysis. And I asked this guy, but now, doctor, we've been following whatever you've been saying. She has been on medication. This time she had appeared. And now, how did she end up here? And then he's like, I don't know. You might say that she is, but maybe she's not. She just tells you what she wants you to hear. So I get the results. Guess what? To find the name doesn't belong to my
That they were giving you wrong results. Jesus Christ.
I even called my sisters. Organized what? And I was shaking. I didn't know what to tell.
I could have been shedding tears, I'm telling you.
We had come from very far. It's been improving. Now we are going back.
So what did you do? You just left that guy and he said sorry.
I think he was also very tired because it was like around lunchtime. And
sometimes doctors are overworked. He was a doctor.
Yes, those specialists.
They are overworked.
So he just said, hey, you mean it's not, hey, sorry, Dr. Buddu. Then he walked away.
Thank God for Uganda. Thank God for Uganda. If you abroad.
Also, patients, you need to also be aggressive.
Yeah, you read, you make sure they don't just tell you things.
Because it's alright.
Yeah, you get to understand everything. Actually, me, I spend time with my patients. I'm just not speaking this because of this. I try to make sure my patient understands. If I know, obviously, if I don't know, because there are some things you don't know. You ask some things that are beyond you. I'm like physician, gynecologist, like I'm like there's special.
You have to refer.
We can talk.
That's
anyway.
Right. Have you had the same, like, those hospital blunders?
My dear. I've had the worst. I think the worst. Okay, second to the worst. Because I feel like
mine is the worst.
Yeah, it was only that Choma didn't actually maybe understand that.
No, I didn't tell her. No, she was not even there. It was just
if she had understood, that could have been worse. But also mine was really bad. So my pregnancy, we go for antenatal. You know, doctors tell, hey, at least 8 visits every pregnancy. So for me, I'm being a good doctor. We go. Actually, I went with my friend because my husband had been busy that time. And you know, when you're pregnant, you really need his care.
Yeah.
I'm like, honey, we have to go. He's like, I'm operating a patient, being a wife to a guy. I mean, what? You go. All the money you need, which everything has already been, because my guy is his friend, I told you. Everything has already been sorted. Just go. He's waiting for you. So I'm like, okay, I go. I'm scared. It was, I think, my first ANC visit. So I go, reach there, like, hey, oh, he's friendly. Hi, Grace, what? He always calls you doctor. Hi, Dr. Grace, how are you, Richie? Yeah, they are trained. So he's like, so are you feeling? Yeah, I was experienced being a first time. Well, I would talk. He's like, so you're going to do these tests. I knew them. HIV, syphilis. The number one, obviously the urine, also, but I will insist on those two because obviously hepatitis B. So I'm like, hey, I'm fine. So like, even when happy comes, they do. So I was the first time that was not coming. They take the lab. No, it was a list of all those things they test. They're like 10 tests. So I'm like, because I was also curious. I'm like, let them test for everything.
They did them. Really?
Yes, I'm
that's why I'm giving you that expression. Like, I've not done like all of them at once.
I wanted the first time. You want everything perfect
to be in order.
So also I keep calling mommy. But now I almost done. In theater, I'm almost done. Thank God, as my results were almost out. He also went and take. But then I see my guy, kind of the face is changing. He's wondering, but I'm like, my dear. So I begin because of his face. Oh, they're funny results.
Yeah, you can know that. What's happening? He's wondering how to start.
And he starts well. So we checked for HIV. It's negative. Blood group, yeah, this and this and this. Everything is okay. But the syphilis test turned out positive. We know syphilis is an STI, sexually transmitted. It can be STI mostly, actually 80%. Then it can be inborn, maternal, neonatal transmission. Then also if you have a lesion, like for us medics, and you touch, like which is very hard, if you have a cut, a lesion, and you get into contact with a lesion, you can also get it. But those are the rare cases.
Because now I was going to ask you, do you think Beckson would believe that I had a lesion?
Wait, we are coming. Obviously, we are speaking. I'm like, doctor, that can't be true. He's like, then begins coming. He was actually my guy is friendly. He begins, I know this thing can be inborn. Now, so they treated me for this and this because it was inborn. So if I got married, I'm like, doctor. Obviously, I've changed my mind. Like right now, I'm tough. Tears are about to come. I'm thinking things. Where do we get this STI? I'm like, doctor, we tested before we got married. All these things were negative. So what are you saying? My dear. Yeah. My husband is just looking like this. You know him. He never gets worried. Like for him, in his mind, there was a mistake. Last time. But he didn't want to make that doctor feel bad. But for him, he even did. Now, me, my mind, I'm blaming, obviously. Me,
you're already the one. It's the man who has brought that.
Me, I'm like, I know myself, I'm not the one. Okay, he's a guy, maybe he can have cut somehow, but why? Like, I'm thinking, this man, what has he done?
So first wait. So it is yours which was positive.
Both of you guys turned out positive.
Anyway, you sleep in the same bed.
Nancy, obviously, my mind begins accusing my mind. Yes, I'm not talking to the guy anymore. I'm shedding tears. That I get out and I'm shedding tears. My guy tries to talk, which I just walk out. Because they are friends. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, birds of the same feathers flock together. Now you're even angry with that guy. Now I'm annoyed with everyone. I walk out, I'm like, no, this is too much. I'm becoming, today I have syphilis, next time it will be HIV. But I thank God in all this. One thing, like, that's right.
They have syphilis.
Next time it will be HIV.
You know how women jump into conclusions?
But it was a lesson for me. In all that, I'm crying, I'm acting weird. He's calm. He had a right to accuse me.
But
he has not said anything. I went out, he's like, Grace, these are wrong results. It can't be.
You went away.
No, as we went, obviously after the session ended, it had to end. Because me, I'm crying, I've moved down. So I think the doctor is also confused because he's trying to defend that it was
that's your first
pregnancy. I'm thinking, things that come with syphilis, deafness of the baby. The baby is likely to get also sick. Things, blindness, the vision. All
now you are thinking about all those things
what I'm
immediately.
About my baby now. What if my baby has this and this? What if, like, Dr. Buddu, I had like 1,000 thoughts in my brain. Anyways, thank God he's like, we go for another test. These guys, and this is one of the biggest hospitals in Bra. They can't be wrong. So he's like, no, Grace, I remember we did this test before getting wedded. It was negative, it can't be positive. Maybe he's not, in all this, he's not accusing me. Me, I am.
You're innocent.
Saying
You're already,
things.
but for you already you've said, I'm innocent, it is from you.
It's from you.
You didn't go for another test that day.
Me, I refused. So he goes.
Hey, he went
and it's negative. But now, when it's negative, he brings the test. He's like, I'm like, maybe those are your friends. But now my heart begins getting worried. What if I'm positive,
and he's
actually negative? Oh my kwechangari, like everything I've said, what am I going to do? Now I begin thinking twice. I'm like, my God, I've accused the man. Now see. Anyways, to cut the story short, he's like, Grace, my tests are here, let's go. I'm like, no, those guys, that they're some big lab guys. I'm like, those guys know you. Let's go, let me choose. We go to another place, we test both of us and they are negative.
You chose your own.
I chose. We went and they were negative.
You're tough, eh?
So I'm not convinced. I'm like, no, these guys are positive because their hospital is big. They can't say they are positive and then they say negative. Let's go to another one. We went to 3 places. The last one actually had to go and see the test. I told them, you know what, bring that, use strips, let's see. They brought the tests and they were negative. After these big guys in a big hospital had given us positive, my dear, after all the words I said, I couldn't change the story.
You couldn't change the story?
No, I'm not again sorry. And then he just tells me one thing. He's like, just learn to trust who you are. Like, next time when this comes, this should be a lesson. When such a thing happens, don't believe the results. Don't believe it.
Just
because you know who I am. Anyways, those are my hospital. I felt like, but if those guys are not my friends, I was going to sue them. Seriously.
Because they really imagine that. But
my family could have actually have gotten broken. As I talked to my sister in the US, but when I talked to her, she also told me the same thing, man, girl, you have such a darling of a husband. What are you saying? I actually, for excuse her, maybe he cut himself when he was operating. Now he was sick.
Oh, you went
for her, that was her. She's like, no, Grace, I think you're rushing this. I think you should give it time. I'm like, sis, this hospital is good. And the things were positive. Like, yes, maybe they are positive because he cut himself. And for him, it's like, no, I did not cut myself. I have to check again.
He was so sure.
And then after Zobia, I had to tell the guy, and I'm like, but man, I wanted to even, like, the results are negative in over four different places. We send him things and then to check, their reagents had expired. Can you imagine? They had expired reagents.
Why?
Anyway,
but for you now, there's no way you could have known, because first of all, the names were yours. Your names were written on the paper,
my name,
like everything, but it is showing positive. You can't know that the reagents are expired.
I couldn't have known. So I was kind of right, although it was wrong for me to blame someone.
But at least you did the second opinion.
We went for 4. It happens, they just put, but for results, this, like, it's good to second think. If you're not convinced, look at the name. Look at,
for example, there's a guy who came to test my girls for HIV, and all of them were positive except one, and those were 6 girls.
What?
Yeah. These things are common. They will have
mistakes.
Yes, but out of, how do you have 5 girls? There were 5, including the teacher, and they were all positive, and only one was negative. I'm like, no, this can't be true. But there are sample strips which were wrong. So I'm like, no, let's run.
Even
but we use the determine. We use the determine, and then they were all negative.
Yeah, but there is also this common thing. Every patient, my mom in the feeling, this thing is common. Every patient, typhoid. Is positive. What I'm treating, I'm treating for typhoid.
People can do a lot of harm. So I just said, that day I said, I think I should start doing these things myself.
That man, but that was weird.
It was, he had that and then he just said, I'm not the one who made these strips. And it's true, because they've written there. You also have to forgive now, like those guys. You don't blame the guy, you blame the lab guys who didn't check for the reagents. So like you find now you blame the people who manufacture the things, and they are on the market.
They're on the market. That's what sucks. And, even sometimes techniques, some are they just forge in life. You never know, they've just been next to a lab technician or lab personnel, and they assume they know what lab guys do.
Exactly. It's because actually people don't know their rights. It's because people don't know their rights. But if we were to talk about the ethics that Professor Shaw he showed us, if we are to talk about that ethics, people now would really know their rights, and they know what to do when they go to hospital. But you can bring all your kajanja in the hospital, it's kawa. People will call you the kajanja patient, but still it's kawa because it's your right.
Just like you bring the kajanja salon.
Bambi Rose, she's now kawa with my kajanja. She's now kawa with my kajanja.
But it's not kajanja. It's obviously just bring so much. And some doctors might miss out because
that's true.
They just start like I don't know. It's true. But it's too much.
But if it's your right. If it's your right, like for example, someone gives you medicine in the hospital, you have no idea what the medicine is, you don't know what it does, you don't know, you're just taking, and then they'll ask you, what medicine were you swallowing? The green tablets, and you're like,
how many patients do that?
Exactly, but they don't know that they're supposed to ask, what is this? What does it do? Even they don't know what they're suffering from.
Yes.
And I think it should be more of respect.
Doctors are so cool nowadays. Even nurses, even midwives. I think medics are cool.
That depends on where you go and who you're talking to. Yeah. Even me, I'm a doctor, but I've had challenges with some nurses and like
who have attitude.
Even doctors. But it's just a personal thing.
But you
just on me, Anyway, I've even finished.
Done.
I'll meet you another time. How do I look?
You look great. You look so good, by the way. These guys are the best.
Thank you. We shall come back.
Okay, let's see you later.
Yeah, thank you. See you later. Say hi to Ari.
I will.